Hi, hello, and welcome back to another episode of my podcast. Now, what was I talking about? And I am V Noir, and today's episode is going to be super special because I am actually on my 10th episode. Woo, pew, pew, pew. And for that, I thought it would be special to interview someone and have someone come over. Now, this person is a DJ, a sculptor, a multimedia artist, a host of not one but two radio shows, a musician, and a retired fashion designer who might be coming and bringing that back. And my dear friend,
Hi.
Lonnie Taylor.
I was like, yeah, you're right. I might bring it back. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. And I really like the name of your show. Now, what was I talking about? Now, what was I saying?
Like, what are we doing here? I don't know.
We're just yapping, right?
We're yapping. Yes.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being my first guest. My first guest ever.
Oh, I'm an inaugural guest. Oh, that's so lit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Well, mustard! No, I'm just kidding.
Mustard on the beat.
Exactly. Shout out to Dijon. Shout out to Kendrick.
Still can't believe that's his real name. That's crazy.
I think that is the most clever way to represent himself.
No.
Yeah, I do DJ under the moniker Lonald J Bands. I do sculpt using my government name. Well, part of it. Lonnie Taylor. And yeah, you know.
Sold your first sculpture.
I did. I sold my first piece this past month. Wow, it's already almost been a month since that's happened. 30 days is really, it's a lot of time, but it's not a lot of time.
It's weird.
Yeah, like 2 weeks. Like, I'm on week 2 of being back for 2 weeks, and I'm like...
How'd that happen?
It felt long. It felt longer. But, yeah, what we yapping about today?
Well, first off, I'm like, y'all might be wondering why this person who is musically inclined is on this show that I talk about TV shows and movies and whatnot. Well, you know, a little backstory. I mean, of course, this is someone who I hold dear in my heart. But I also helped you film your, projects.
Oh, yeah. My first visual album. Absolutely.
Yes, you know, so there is some, like, film history there. Yeah. But in general, I was like, okay, I think it would be fun to just talk about, like, what are some, like, TV shows or movies you, like, grew up with that you feel very, like, connected to and, like, maybe draw inspiration from, or, you know, like, something that you, like, this is really something that I'm, like, hold strongly.
Damn, you kind of hit me with a really good question that I really don't talk about that stuff often. Some of the most influential visual, like video media that influenced me was music videos. Mm-hmm. Music videos and, like, coming of age films. And I'm going to get into, like, I can see if I can narrow down a top 3. I feel like I could. But whenever I wanted to communicate a picture into words, I would, like, those split pages where you had, like, the dotted lines on the bottom and then, like, space to draw. That's how I would, like, that's how I assumed that scripts were written for movies. And which it kind of is once I started.
Like a storyboard situation, but, like...
Not a comic. Like, no, because that's comic strip style, but, like, where it's just, like, literally, like, this is the picture, this is what's happening underneath.
Yeah.
I felt like that was more effective than storyboarding, too, which is even funnier because in college I was, like, bring back this is the sun, to the right are the clouds. Like, instead of doing a shot list of fucking... storyboard.
Yeah.
And
no,
then
I'm
like a call sheet. Like, I honestly reform. Anyway, before what was I saying?
No, what was I talking about?
No, what was I talking about? No, before I go off on like a tangent, I think that when I was looking at
tangents are welcome. That's what
I know it's a tangential show, but to round out like the thing, it was being able to understand that feelings could be communicated visually and talked about at the same time with words. And with the words being songs at the time, I'm like, oh, fuck, this is like sick. So that was how music videos really influenced me. And then it was just like the fashion, like, ironically enough, being a DJ now, it's like, okay, well, the inspiration of like seeing how people wanted to depict the club versus being in the club for real. And like in a lot of ways it is the same, but in a lot of ways it's different, especially in the early 2000s. Like, I feel like that was the golden era of like hip hop clubs. Late 90s, early 2000s. Because like late 90s was like, I wouldn't say post like the violence, but I think that because like two people, well, more than two people, but like people be like, oh, two of the greats got killed, like, because of, like, violence and stuff like that. Like, people were really more focused on, like, turning up for real. And, like, it wasn't necessarily about peace, but it was just kind of, like, in a way they kind of re-sanctified going to the club. Like, nah, if you're gonna do that shit, like, don't do that shit here.
Yeah, like, this is
where we come to, like, find reprieve.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. I think that was, like, that's where my head is at right now, especially because like we're literally sitting when I have like 2 stacks of like early 2000s rap and R&B on vinyl, and I'm just like, yeah, I can't wait to play this out. I think about the surrealism specifically in rap videos, and then that goes back to the talk that we went to,
yeah,
where we were talking about like rap music as a horror genre.
Because you were bringing up that, like, Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, Busta Rhymes, give me some more. Like, Busta Rhymes, put your hands where my eyes can see. That's, like, real, like, voodoo stuff that he was fucking with. Like, and not on some, like, weird shit. Like, it was very authentic. Actually, I'm gonna pull up the video now, because if you really want to party with me, like, even the log drums that were used, like, it's very ancestral. Like, I think that we're in a time now where people who are sick of, like, thinking, like, people who know that representation is the bare minimum, and, like, surface level representation by people who don't have any actual relationship to the marginalized communities that aren't being shown, it's corny as fuck. So then to see some shit that's, like, for real, it's second nature, so you don't even think about it. Like, I'm ready to be in that place again. And that's where I also think about, like, the early 2000s. Like, black people didn't have to try to be excellent. Oh, wait, I could cuss on here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, niggas didn't have to try to be fucking black excellence. It was like, yeah, there were folks who were very Afrocentric. Yeah, we had, like, everybody has a hotep, right? Like, every era has a hotep and has a hotep culture, but
black alternative people just in general,
black alt folks, yeah,
in music.
And the funny thing was, black alts were mainstream, but in it wasn't like a subsect. It was like, okay, shout out to Pharrell again, because he was still doing, like, his NERD shit. Like, I remember Provider, that video ran so that Tyler, the Creator, could soar.
Damn.
Like, the clips, I think about the clips, and then I think about, like, the trap rappers of now that we love, like 454 and Baby Sosa. Like, I don't know. That's, like, Malice and Pusha T, they're, like, scribes, you know? Or I'm thinking about, like, shows like Rap City, The Basement, 106 and Park. Like,
oh my gosh,
you had all these forms of expression. Like, okay, and then if we're going back to Missy Elliott, or if we're going back to Busta Rhymes, I think about Missy Elliott, because she was, like, she was quirked up, she was avant-garde, but she was, like, high fashion for real.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And she was a larger bodied, dark-skinned black woman. And then, like, on the neo soul tip, if we're thinking about like Missy Elliott was the avant-garde. Angie Stone is the Missy Elliott of R&B. Secretly writing and producing for some of the greatest, and was getting like loved down but also not well treated by D'Angelo, which glad he fucking got exiled and came back from that, because
yeah,
glad he's
like,
doing better, but also you fumbled a bad bitch.
Literally. Like, I hate it here.
Yeah, actually hate it here. But also Angie Stone was just like nobody to fuck around with. And like, funny thing is, like, I have my CD book.
Oh yeah, that she brought back.
Yeah, and I believe it was, what was it by Angie Stone? Is it Black Butterfly? Black Diamond. The Black Diamond out, because there's Butterfly by Granique, who people call the light-skinned Angie Stone, which we're not gonna do neither of them like that.
Literally, don't
respectfully, we're not doing neither of them like that. Angie Stone is Angie Stone, Granique is Granique. They are in a similar vein, and they are equally talented. I grew up listening to Black Diamond. Like, My Sunshine Has Come, like, one of the most beautiful songs about, like, optimism and perseverance that I've ever heard. Like, I sit and listen to that on the beach, like, on my worst day, you know? And then I think about, like, I Wish I Didn't Miss You Anymore. Fuck, like, those videos actually changed my life. And then it's funny because in my early 20s, I heard Tommy Wright III sample the song that Angie Stone sampled for My Sunshine. I'm trying to think of what the sample is. It's called No More Rain in This Cloud. That's the actual name of the song. And the reason I brought up Angie Stone is because she recently passed. Rest in peace. Shit. She also, I think she wrote for Jill Scott at some point. I know she did.
Damn.
I feel like she did. Also, people were so surprised to see her with a fucking pressing curl, and I'm like, girl, what? Sorry. Yeah.
People just don't be knowing.
People think that a dark-skinned black lady that wears her natural hair is always gonna be, like, reduced to being, like, homely. And that was the point that I was getting at, was like, I was
literally,
a large...
she passed on the 1st.
Yeah, she literally passed away on Saturday. Thinking about how I grew up as, like, I'm dark-skinned, I'm larger.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not dainty and I'm not petite. I'm, like, fucking 5'10".
What? You don't fit into Eurocentric beauty standards?
Nah, I'm 5'10". I'm pretty sturdy. What are the kids calling it now? I'm mid-sized, but I'm just hella tall.
Like a mid-sized sedan?
Yeah. Yeah, a mid-sized sedan on a good day, on a nice hefty day, a compact SUV. Yeah. I mean, people I don't know, people kind of assume, like I said, for you to be, like, homely, and then, like, I had these embodiments young of, like, the avant-garde, so that pushed me into, like, fashion in some ways. And then honestly, because, you know, happy, what is it, International Sex Workers Day, happy #Women's Month. Yeah. Oh yeah, I should have said, like, my pronouns are she, they, but for Women's Month, it's she, her, and that bitch. Like, don't fuck with me.
I love that.
Don't fuck with me. And if you're really fucking trying it, it's has had it. Cause
yes.
Oh, brother.
Like, we're barely in month 3, and these
motherfuckers are going crazy. These motherfuckers are trying it. Oh, I was gonna look up Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See. Oh wait, that's what it was. No More Rain sample. So to go back to my initial tangent, yes, these people showed me that being black was multifaceted as fuck. Then
oh my God.
when we go back to visuals, before I had an understanding of what non-binary is, I did seek androgyny, and then there was Maxwell, our Afro-Latin, toxic, sensitive king. Love him down. He was my first crush. And then when I found out Khalees existed, I was like, well, there's a girl version of Maxwell. Like, need her. But then I was very fascinated and honestly just like peripherally around a lot of like sex workers.
Yeah.
And then the rap that came from that, like, it's funny because my mom listened to a lot of R&B girl groups like Total and SWV. Like, she was on the cutesy side of things, but then like the girls that would be featured, like the girl rappers that would be featured on these tracks to make it a little edgy, like Foxy Brown, Lil' Kim, like that was cunty. And that shit was very inspiring. Like, I only wanted to wear heels because I was like Lil' Kim. Like, Lil' Kim. And then, I mean,
like, what an era in general, the early 2000s was just for that. Such a level of representation, whether that was in the music or the shows that we had access to, like, just in general. And I'm like, it's so lacking now.
I figured it out. So, the album, or the song that No More Rain samples is Gladys Knight and the Pips. I love me some Gladys Knight. And it's, like, not on some, like, I seek her out, but every time I'm like, where is this earworm of a sample coming from? Oh my gosh. It's like I've known this in another life. It's always Gladys Knight. And I'm like, oh yeah. And it's funny because the way that these sounds come back, like, that's what I was getting at. My second tangent about Angie Stone was I forgot about the Black Diamond album because when I moved away from home to the Bay Area, which is funny because, like, my family's from here. So did I really move away from home or did I just really come home? It was like I was listening to Tommy Wright the Third, and he did this song called On the Creep, and he took that same do 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 from Gladys Knight and the Pips. But I was like, Angie Stone. And this was like at the beginning of my DJ journey. Like, this was literally in 2017. I was like, I want to figure out how to like blend these two tracks together. And so I was still like learning. And yeah, my mom thought it was a little blasphemous because she was actually like visiting me when I was like telling her about this. And she's like, yeah, this is crazy. But it's very interesting. It's very interesting to see how these things kind of have like circular patterns in my life. And yeah, I guess like all of that is to say that the inspiration doesn't really die. But now I'm going to look up Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See. Videos that really stood out to me, like music videos that really stood out to me. That was one of them. Give Me Some Mo by Busta Rhymes, which is funny because it samples a Baltimore house track called Give Me Some Head, which I play because of Busta Rhymes. And like that video was terrifying too. And once again, that was like a voodoo boogeyman because Busta Rhymes is Jamaican. And he's from Baltimore. I don't think he's from New York. I think it's often I forget his name, it's Trevor.
Oh my God, his real name is Trevor.
Is he Jamaican or Caribbean? His family is Jamaican. No, he was born in Brooklyn. That's funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, because I was about to be like, oh, well, it'll be interesting if he actually heard the original Baltimore track in Baltimore.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because I always thought he was from Baltimore. But yeah, nah. He is from what is it? He's from Brooklyn. But that makes sense. He's a Jamaican man from Brooklyn, but that's a Be More House track. But okay, yeah.
Either way, he'd be in the know.
I feel like he was working with somebody like, he was working with some people that were from the DMV area. I don't know why I keep associating him with the DMV area outside of that track, like, just, like, generally, but I don't need to dwell on that for too long. All that is to say is his voodoo imagery, as someone with some Creole heritage, it stood out to me a lot, and then, like, I looked into the symbolism as I got older, and then I was like, oh yeah, he's really on some cool shit. And just being scared of that music video made me feel something. Like, now I love it. Now I could go back and watch it, but and be like, oh my god, this is fucking freaky, and like,
I mean, even if I think about, like, the kind of stuff we were doing for your visual album.
Oh, I was getting freaky with it, huh?
You wanted to eat a heart.
I did eat a bleeding heart.
Yeah.
That I made out of gelatin. I didn't get any animal products or...
No.
I mean, gelatin is an animal product, but I didn't eat, like, an actual...
It's like a byproduct. It's not like you, like, took a heart out of an animal and then was like...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is giving... Oh, no.
Oh, like, refresh.
Why am I being played with? It just did a fucking...
It was like, nah.
Oh, yeah, all his videos are crazy. Woo-ha, Gimme Some Mo, him with ODB. What's It Gonna Be with Janet Jackson is very beautiful. Scream by Michael and Janet Jackson. That, very avant-garde. Janet Jackson was a huge influence.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily in her music videos per se, but her fashion sense.
Oh my god, her fashion.
Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of just like what really made me think about, like, creating a world with art. I just liked it.
Like visuals and stuff. I
never thought I was going to actually shoot my own music videos. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to pretend like I was an office worker and like I was like doing clerical, like, accounting. But then by night, I just wanted to put on like a leather 2-piece pantsuit and be like...
Yes.
On my Janet Jackson / Trinity from the Matrix / like Khalees with my like androgynous but similarly dressed twunk boyfriend on a motorcycle.
Everybody wants a twonk.
I did. I was like, I need me a fine man with long hair and a snatched waist. I had lofty goals as an adolescent.
You're like, I'm just gonna be an office worker, and then at night I'm gonna go to the club.
Yeah, but I somehow wanted to be able to tote weapons. Like, I was like, I wanted to be able to know how to like sword fight type shit. Off air. Redacted. Some dreams do come true.
Yes, exactly.
Like, literally, this video is crazy.
I'm like, I might have remembered seeing this. There's like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, when he was the red like cheetah or leopard, I was like, this is voodoo, and like this is yeah, and then even the way he controls his own body, like and then him being like also like a pharaoh or like a monarch of sorts,
and getting taken care of.
Yeah. I was also just like, can we say shout out to Busta Rhymes for always having the body BT? Yeah, Wagwan. And always employing some very beautiful black women in his videos. Yes. Damn, that also speaks to, yeah, I guess, you know what's funny? My influences for visuals and just naturally being drawn to diasporic shit came from music videos. But I think I learned self-hatred through like the people that I was forced to socialize with, which is like the kids like I went to school with, and like, you know, just fucking like white people in Arizona. And then
that's all you had to say. White people, Arizona.
Yeah. And then this goes back into like coming of age films where it's like the girl that liked to read books was like made fun of, and like they made her out to be like a booger picker, and like this
or weird,
yeah,
or
like,
different,
and like there was always this story of like, let me fix you up so that you can be lovable.
Yeah.
But then once they're fixed up, it's like, no, I liked you the way you were, because now you're like this inflated sense of you, and like you're like everyone else, and it's like,
or like, now you're too popular and I want you to myself situation.
yeah,
or like,
and then there's this like, wait, yeah, you're right, I was fine the way I was, y'all convinced me to be this way. So then there's like this, like at the end there's always like this in between where it's like you're back to your core interests, but
now you're beautiful.
But you just have a little sprucing up, and it's like, it's very real. It's very real, and I don't want to even try to think about like the chicken or the egg thing, like which came first. Like, is this how we were, or is this how we were trained to be and how we've become because we wrote stories about this? I really think that there is always some journey to like the other side, and then you come back.
Yeah, like art imitating life imitating art, and that back and forth.
Well, I was just talking about like the storyline itself, but thinking about the coming of age like films and not having the longing of like why would you want a guy that's a fucking dickhead? Like, if anything, it showed me, like, I was like, I don't want to be like them. I would like to, like, I've always rooted for the girl or like the outcast person to just stay themselves.
Yeah. No.
Oh yeah. So then, yeah, a movie that influenced me that was like that. I saw the Molly Ringwald version of Can't Buy Me Love. I think it was Molly Ringwald, right? See, I'm not like a film buff, but I know cinema to like.
You be knowing shit.
Let's see. Can't Buy Me Love. Yeah, it came out in 1987. My mom loved that movie. Who's in it? It's Seth Green, Amanda Peterson, Ronald Miller, Darcy Moss. No Molly Ringwald. I think what I'm thinking about by Molly Ringwald is 16 Candles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is that era.
I was thinking of 16 Candles, and yeah, that was like about the 16th birthday, and then,
you know,
like being forgotten because her sister's getting married type shit. Clueless, I don't know, Clueless just made me sad. When I really think about it, every time I watch that movie, it gives me a feeling of melancholy. I think that all of the upbeat, like, teenagers are supposed to be fun and mind empty and, like, going to the mall and all of these things. If I'm gonna be very real, like, because that was, like, the thing that was given to me to entertain myself instead of engagement, and then even going to the mall as, like, a passive time spend, it just makes me really, like, sad. So that's, like, how that influences.
I mean, like, Clueless is another example where you're talking about where the person being shown as, like, an outcast, even though she was popular in her own right with, like, all the other, like skater boys and shit.
Yeah.
That they were,
Brittany
like,
Murphy was quirked up, and that was an autistic babes. Yeah. I feel like if we were gonna, like, look at the neurodivergence of it all, Cher is definitely an ADHD baddie. Maybe even an ADHD baddie. Yeah, it's giving. Dion.
We need more coming of age stories based on Shakespeare movies again.
Oh my gosh.
Clueless was one too, I think.
Was it based on?
I think so.
I didn't know that.
Clueless and 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, 10 Things I Hate About You is very obviously Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And they use it throughout the thing. Yeah, honestly, oh my gosh, what is her name?
It wasn't Shakespeare, it was Jane Austen. Emma.
Oh.
Clueless is Emma. I always forget that.
10 things I hate about you. The girl who's in that film, Julia Stiles. I love me a Julia Stiles moment because I've seen her like Save the Last Dance.
Yes.
But the funny thing was I never wanted to be her. I liked that she had this very handsome presence about her. She kind of had a boyish figure, has a strong jawline, heavy brow, and like she was cunty. Damn, I'm gay. Like, let's just be very clear.
Yeah, I mean,
I think if anything, this is all just revealing that like the media in which I consumed.
Save the Last Dance is the movie I was thinking of.
I was rejecting heteronormativity, and I was into cunty androgynous human beings. And you know what I have to say about that? Right on, brother.
I mean, definitely for me too, it's like, I wasn't aware of my attraction to like women. I was just like, oh, that person's so beautiful. And then we're gonna put that in a little cabinet. But no, whenever I think of Julia Stiles, I do think of Save the Last Dance and the black man that she's in that movie with. Because in Not Another Teen Movie, they make fun of the fact that he is sort of in this movie with her too, and it's just so funny to me.
Yes. You ever just get a message and you're like,
Sean Patrick Thomas.
who is this?
Oh, did she get a random spam call? I mean, text?
No. Wow. No, it was an old coworker.
Oh, nice.
You know what's funny? Oh my gosh, I had told you about her. And she just reached out to me. That's boing, wild. Because I thought I saw somebody that looked like her, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if the body's changed, but yeah.
Things are a little different.
Yeah, you know.
What was I saying? Oh, okay.
We were talking about Emma.
I was talking about, Emma, which is Jane Austen, which is what Clueless is based on. And then I was bringing up how with Julia Stiles, whenever I think of her, I think of Save the Last Dance. And then I think of Sean Patrick Thomas, who's like the lead male role in that, and how he is in he comes up in Not Another Teen Movie because he's just like an actor who's always in these movies which are like predominantly white. Yeah. So then in Not Another Teen Movie, there's a scene where the main black character is at this party and he's just like, and then Sean Patrick Thomas shows up and he's like, you know, I'm supposed to be the only black person here. And then they go,
and then they fight. It's like, wait, I'm the quintessential black supporting character, and it's like, wait, there's room for all of us. Okay.
And then they brush off and, you know, like, white people. I love that fucking movie though, because literally every time that black character shows up, his hair, he's in a different wig. His hair is not consistent.
No, that's even funnier. It's funny because when I think about the melancholy that I got from watching early 2000s and late 90s coming of age films, it's like what Gregor Rocky did with film in the Doom generation around the AIDS movement. But I feel like it was because you could see the queerness. There were such heavy queer undertones, and that's what made the writing kind of pop. Like, in the people that they cast, like, even with, like I said, with using Julia Stiles, and, like, even, I think it was Michelle Pfeiffer for She's All That. Like, is it Michelle Pfeiffer?
I'm trying to remember.
No, I'm looking right now. It's Rachel Lee Cook, I'm so sorry. See? I'm not that girl
But
when it
again,
comes to remembering.
another one, and this is specifically the one that I think of when people are like, oh, well, let me just take off your glasses. Wow, now we can see the beautiful person under you.
I was like, no,
and
you
like
just
take off that ponytail, you know.
And it's like, nah, she's just a white girl. She's just a white girl, babes. But the funny thing about this is when they tried to do this in the context of black stuff, because, okay, I wasn't just watching white coming of age films. I was also watching a lot of blaxploitation and watching, like, the Deliver Us from Eva and being like, or Two Can Play That Game, where it's like, nah, like, Gabrielle Union was bad as fuck and still is and is like, let's just go through it. Like, watching how Stella got her groove back and like seeing an older woman be celebrated for finding love in a younger man and just like living the life she wanted to live. Waiting to Exhale was great. Like, I had
Forrest Whitaker.
Exactly. I feel like having those things shaped the way I like write music. Oh, excuse me. But then, like I was saying, going back to the queer undertones that kind of made the 90s coming of age films feel forward thinking in some ways, and then be like, oh, like it was just because they casted a lot of people that were like androgynous or didn't fit these like very,
like, they weren't like conventionally attractive.
They weren't conventionally attractive, and they weren't
like,
conventionally cishet either.
Yeah, like, not that these people were like ugly, but
nah, they were just
different,
like in the actual sense of the word exotic.
Yeah, like if I think of like how models look, you know, like they're beautiful people, but they're not necessarily conventionally attractive. There's like something, they're not like your everyday people, but they're also not like
Absolutely.
a celebrity. Like, that's kind of how casting was back in the day.
Absolutely.
Now it's all based on your follower count.
Oh, yeah, because 10 Things I Hate About You was based on Taming of the Shrew. It was adapted from Taming of the Shrew, which is very funny because it's like, you think you want a woman that's outspoken and wild until she disagrees with you.
Honestly, the story is kind of wild in general, too, because the whole thing is, like, getting this guy... The main guy wants to date the younger sister. The younger sister can't date anyone unless the older sister dates someone, and the older sister is the shrew. And so they get some random guy to try to date her.
It's not that they get a random guy. Well, let's be very clear. They get a man that they think is rowdy and shrewd.
Can match her freak. No.
Yes. They get a guy that they specifically think is like going to literally tame her, like a beast tamer. Like, they're like, well, she's a beast. We need to find a bigger beast.
Exactly.
To humble her.
You literally,
and she still gets her feelings hurt because you don't set people up for selfish intent.
Yeah. Exactly.
It gives Pick Me in a lot of ways, and not on Julia Stiles' character's part.
No, because she doesn't know any of this shit's going on.
Yeah.
I'm like, never mind. It was going to be like between her and her sister.
Ciao. But I was thinking about the early aughts stuff and how that, like, or the late 90s, early aughts stuff, and how that gave me a melancholy. But then when I was a teenager, watching the stuff that came out, like Easy A, and like the more, like the stuff that was like, when I rewatch it now, I'm like, oh, some of the shit that they said is like genderqueer, defined problematic, but it's like, people were actually trying.
Penn Badgley. I was like, which one of our faves is in Easy A again? Penn Badgley's in
Love
there.
him. Love him down. Love him freaky down. Ew. Damn, I'm the shrew. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, thinking about like Penn Badgley and in Easy A, or not Penn Badgley, but Emma Stone in Easy A. Thinking about films like Superbad, where it was like, it talks about the pressures of boys and young men to like have sex even when they're not ready to.
Yeah.
And even them like necessarily just kind of like wanting to be involved with somebody that they're actually like emotionally into.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like not just like doing it just to do it. Or Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
Oh my god.
That was such a good film. That shit made me cry.
Such a throwback. I feel like I used to have that on DVD.
I don't know. I think like those films influenced me at that age because it was more subversive, even though I said some of the stuff that was like said or done in these films, like The Hot Chick, like with Adam Sandler.
Oh my god.
Like
with, what the fuck's his name?
Rob Schneider, not Adam Sandler.
There we go. But I'm like,
Rob Schneider.
it feels like Adam Sandler's like company, Happy Gilmore probably made it or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. What is it, The Hot Chick?
I remember when South Park was making fun of him.
Oh well, that was made in 2002, which is crazy to say, but I hadn't watched it. Like, it's funny because John Tucker Must Die came out in 2006. Freaky Friday was 2003. I think it was, yeah. So to be chronologically like on point, the stuff that was like late 80s to the 90s, like those coming of age films, yeah, it definitely carried that, like, there's like a gloom and a melancholy and like a
like change yourself to.
And I think that there was also maybe some like Y2K fears of like of the unknown. So there, that's where like I think a lot of the weird like archaic shit like kept coming up, but then the way that things were cast, it just made you question it because it's like, well, these characters, like the people that are playing these characters don't seem to abide by these rules. And then the stuff that was like so zany, like Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, Mean Girls, like watching all that shit. That was different. Like even Sleepover was like crazy.
I love that movie.
All the Bring It On films. Like
again, Grab Girl Union. Apparently,
oh yeah, The House Bunny was funny.
People were being sold that movie was going to be more about the black cheerleaders than the white cheerleaders. And the initial advertisements for it. And I was like, oh. Well, yeah, y'all just disappointed a bunch of people.
Jawbreaker, even though it came out in 1999, I thought that was kind of like spooky.
That is one of those that I do need to watch because that is apparently one of the like big influences for Mean Girls.
Oh yeah, because so when it comes down to like things that kind of make me anti-girls girl, it was like those films because it was all about being a nice nasty girl. Like these friendships were never truly genuine. It was just girls that like we're similar aesthetically.
Yeah, and I'm like,
we click, and then you find out through going through some shit with these bitches that like they're really not down for each other.
No, exactly.
Like, I don't know, that shit made me like, it made me very wary. And like especially in high school, it made me very much like I do not need homegirls.
It's so weird. I'm like, how can y'all stand being around people that y'all can't stand?
It's because you're forced to, and it's that weird culture of like grin and bear it. And I'm like,
no.
But that's very.
No, I mean like as in I won't grin and bear it. I'm gonna just leave you alone.
Yeah,
and be around people that I actually like get along with, have some sort of connection to. Like I can't do that. That's a waste of energy in my time.
Absolutely. I think that it's funny to know that people are raised to believe that that's how you get along in the world, but then it makes sense because it plays into that same The same big C word, capitalism.
Yeah, and I'm like, I feel like a lot of things would be a lot differently if people like either voiced their not discernment, but like
Their discrepancies.
yeah, their discrepancies, or like just the fact that they don't like something and don't like something about a person, and not in like the way of like, oh well, you shouldn't dress this way or whatever, but just like, I don't like that this person always talks over me or something, you know, like things like that. And not being around people that will build you up and being around people that tear you down.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, thinking about what's it called? Oh yeah, Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson is in Jawbreaker. No, the cast of this movie is sick. Rose McGowan is very beautiful.
She so is. That was another one that I was like,
oh yeah,
this
I grew up
person's so
watching Charmed and shit too. So it's like I grew up watching Charmed. Like there was a lot of stuff that just like, now that I think about it, I'm like, fuck. This really does. It doesn't shape me, but like it makes sense for like who I am now. In terms of like being imaginative, being very immersed in like with sculpting, it's like my sensory studies are very guttural and visceral, and I'm like, yeah, people weren't afraid to make shit ugly in the early aughts.
Oh my god, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that
it was sort of like the counterculture during that time too.
Yeah, I was like, shout out to everybody that fucked with John Waters, or like that didn't even know. But the girly films that really made me kind of wary of other girls, especially like with my being a competitive cheerleader, like I was definitely in it for the sport and for the athleticism, and because I knew that like ultimately cheerleaders were as strong as football players.
Yeah.
And it's like, I like an extreme sport. What can I say? The Veronicas. That film was fucked up. The Craft, big influence, fucked up. Jawbreaker, big influence, fucked up.
I usually black out the ending of The Craft. So to me, everybody's still friends.
You black it out mentally?
I remember somebody brought up The Craft and like the ending, and I was like, what are you talking about? They were able to, you know, stay together. They use magic.
You're funny. You are so funny.
I hated that scene when the one black character got back against that racist piece of shit and used her magic on her, and then she lost her hair as like sort of the negative thing, and I'm like, no, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, like that I disagreed with that too. Like when we were talking about that, where I was like, yeah, excuse me, like she did a good thing. Like sometimes you get what's coming to you, because that girl was literally targeting her black ass hair.
Literally. I was like, this is egregious. So anything after this doesn't exist to me. I'm like, oh, you just don't be knowing.
Yeah, that's
like it's giving what's his name?
No, it's the movie Veronica's is not the one I was talking about.
I think you're thinking of fuck, what is it called? But there are like the four girls, and it's the movie that influenced Jawbreaker as well, actually. Why can't I think of it? I remember Christian Slater's in it. Why he look like that? Heathers.
The Heathers.
Heathers.
Thank you.
Heathers influenced Jawbreaker. Both of those movies influenced Mean Girls.
Yeah. The Heathers. Oh, she was in Bram Stoker's Dracula as well.
Nice. What the hell is his name?
These are all films that like I grew up watching. Yeah, I used to watch hella movies. futuristic.
Quentin Tarantino is who I think now. No, but I was like, that racial stuff happening in The Craft and them using the N-word and everything, I was like, it's kind of giving Quentin Tarantino making his movies and having himself be in a movie playing a bad guy just so he can say the N-word. But then he gets killed, so it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. That always makes me feel weird.
I'm like, definitely side-eyeing.
Oh yeah, Winona Ryder. Yeah, because let me think. It was Winona Ryder, Kim Walker, Lisa Ann Frank, yup. Shannon Doherty. Shannon Doherty was such a bitch. In every movie she was in.
Oh, okay, I was like, wait.
Nah,
she was also in Charmed.
Yeah.
And she passed away last year.
She, like, the role that she played, like, when she was in Charmed, I was like, her character, Prue was a bitch. And I stand on that.
You're funny. I mean, I think I remember her growing out of it. It was like, she had that, like, big sister, we gotta get, like, it was a lot. Like, overbearing.
Yeah, she was overbearing.
But then she kind of loosened up a bit, and then I think she's the one where her character ends up dying too, but it was like after she went through like an emotional growth and everything and became a better character. Shaking my head.
Damn, I'm reading that I'm reading that Winona Ryder was begged, her agent begged her not to do Heathers.
Really?
Yeah, because it was such a dark film.
I know it didn't do that well when it initially came out.
Because it's fucking dark.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, teenagers are dark. And I think that was the thing about the early to mid 2000s where it was like, I don't know how they were able to win people over by still talking about the same dark subject matter, but being maybe a little bit more inquisitive and not just being like, this is how these people are. And like, there's like this one character that's like, I'm gonna make everybody see how shitty this is. Instead, it was kind of like, everybody was kind of like, yeah, this doesn't seem right, huh? But why are we doing this? And then a thing happens and they're like, oh yeah, we really shouldn't have been doing that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it felt
like that self-awareness, fourth wall breaking. We've been dealing with these tropes for decades. Let's like put a spin on it at least, or something.
Exactly. Like, yeah, that definitely, just thinking about who I was at the time, it didn't influence what I was doing creatively, but it influenced my outlook. And I think that that's something to note, is like, you might not be able to tell my visual references, or like, I don't make references to the media that I consume in ways that are like on the surface, but it's palpable, like the music that I play and shit. Like, I don't know, I think that like watching Blade hella like towards my like late teens and being more fascinated with like revisiting the Matrix, and not for the like futurism of it, because at the like, I've always been into Afrofuturism because I was into R&B and like rap from an early age. And that shit, like, fuck Africa Bambaataa as a human being, but like the way that he was dressing, and like, fuck, even Busta Rhymes, like, oh yeah, period. Going back to this, like, this shit is crazy. We're still looking at put your hands where my eyes can see, like, this is literally like, it's all like ancestral spirituality. Yeah, this was the scene I was directly wanting to reference. Happy Mardi Gras.
Oh yeah, that's coming up, huh?
It's happening right now.
Nice.
If you really want to party with me, You see, it's
well, it's gonna have happened by the time this comes out.
Oh yeah, well, while this is happening. But yeah, that shit was so fire.
Mm-hmm.
Like the ghouly aspect of it, like niggas just having a good time.
Isn't that what we want in life? To have fun, good time, joy.
Yeah, like give me some more was freaky. I'm not gonna even lie to you. Give me some more is like he like bumped his head and like his eyes just started dilating.
Oh my god, I remember this, yeah.
Yeah. And then he's like a little voodoo gremlin, like running around.
We need more fisheye lens in music videos, damn it.
Yeah, that shit used to freak me the fuck out. That shit had me spooked, and now I'm like looking at it and I'm like, oh, it's just a little quirked up guy. Yeah, see, like, I don't know.
Like, wow, the artistry.
Like, watching Thriller, I still can't watch Thriller at night.
Oh, really?
I don't think I can. But there's something about things that are terrifying that I was exposed to. Like, my dad made me watch Kill Bill. And, like, watching, like, Oren Ishii, like, witness her parents get killed, like, while she was under the bed. Like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that don't faze me now. Like, the actual horrors of the world are actually horrible and they faze me. But, like, the weird what ifs, like, I'm like, if this is the things that occur in people's mind in a way that's fantastical, then, like, of course people are capable of it. Like, it makes it easier for me to accept horrible realities. But it doesn't make me, like, I don't know. I can't say if it makes me complicit or not, because I think that that's not something I can, like...
That's not in your control at all.
Right. But I think it makes it easier for me to be curious about, like, how to change it. Yeah. So that's how TV impacts me. I don't even watch TV like that right now, which is wild. Like... I'll watch Abbott. Like, I'm into comedy stuff right now. Yeah. I'm watching TV, like, not for enjoyment anymore. And that, like, other than Abbott. I feel like sometimes I watch TV because it feels very contrived to, yeah, it feels like the ways that they're trying to represent, like, queer black people that are not necessarily just like that are not just necessarily like homosexual, like men loving men, women loving women, like the way that people are trying to represent non-binary folks and binary trans folks. It's weird. I'm like, damn, you ain't got no dolls in your circle. You don't got no trans men in your life. That's sad. Like, I'm so sorry.
Like, actually,
you ain't cool with no T-boys? That's crazy.
That's crazy.
You don't got no trade in your life? Like, what? Huh? This is nuts. Like, oh God, what are we doing? But, damn, I didn't think, wow, you really hit me with a great question, because that was a good yap. Damn, this is some, like, rare lore. Because most people are like, oh, what are your sonic influences? But if I'm going to be so for real, my visual influences affect my sonic influences. Like,
I mean, it's all really connected, honestly. And it's like, those visual influences are also sonic influences.
Yeah, I think, like...
And even with, like, even though you're not currently doing fashion,
I be putting that shit on.
Yeah, exactly. You put that shit on all the time. But, like, you're thinking about fashion, you're thinking about curating your wardrobe and, like, the video, all kinds of stuff.
I wouldn't be shit if I didn't talk about Outkast and if I didn't talk about Timbaland and Magoo. So Love to Love Ya, and, like, the way Timbaland, like, all of his videos had these, like, crazy corridors where it was, like, slightly haunted. Love that down. Love that for him. this goes back into like rap specifically in the 90s being very horror coded, and I think that that's a very real thing, like thinking about where we were at culturally and societally, but like we were also pushing forward like entertainment for real.
Yeah.
Very interesting juxtaposition. I think about now though, like if we look at if we look at the way horror presents itself in trap music now, I look at Playboi Carti and like a lot of people are like, I think he's a demon, and I'm like, I don't.
You're just letting Eurocentric
No, I think
religion.
like I think the shit he be on, like it's intentionally dark, but I don't think that it's as dark as people think. Like I don't think he's as dark-sided.
Yeah.
But I also don't know. 'Cause like, you know, I don't know this person as a person, but I think that sometimes if you're very like plain as day with it, 9 times out of 10 like you have like a decent relationship with shit. It's like with Tyler the Creator, everybody thought he was like worshiping the devil and he wasn't. And like now that he's like once he started making, once he did what is it? Oh my gosh, it's not Flog Gnaw. That's the fucking, oh my gosh. What is this album? It was the album before Cherry Bomb. I have brain fog. Tyler the Creator album. Wolf. I think it was Wolf. Yep. When he did Wolf and he talked about his grief, right after that, Cherry Bomb came out, and then everybody was like, this is a flop album. He's not supposed to be happy and chilling. And then after Cherry Bomb was Scumfuck Flower Boy, where he was out as queer. And then it was like another album about loneliness at the sacrifice of like authenticity and like trying to figure out what you really like. And then boom, from there you get oh my gosh, what was the one he did? Call Me When You Get Lost, Igor. Like, yeah, that was cinematic genius. I think that following his career and following his influences and following, like, I would say Tyler is a direct influence. So is Tizo Touchdown right now. Just like them as people, their essence, their being.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They're definitely like dudes. They're dudes, but they're like avant-garde and they're very girly. Like Tizo Touchdown with his slicked down, like with his slicked back finger wave bust down, but he has on like he wears like nails and like a face full of like gold. Like honestly, I'm trying to be there.
Yes.
Like I like being girly, but I also like being hard as hell. And sometimes I feel like I can't handle being intimidating. Like sometimes it bothers me when I can tell that people are visibly like intimidated by me.
Oh.
It's just because of the fucking tropes. If the tropes didn't exist, I wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But it's funny because in some ways I also don't. Like, it's weird.
Shit's annoying.
Also a big fan of A$AP Rocky too. But yeah, Playboi Carti and Lil Uzi Vert were like, when I think about vocal play, Kendrick right now, vocal play, and then aesthetically, like, yeah, Kendrick is like literally just a guy. But
he's
like,
just a cuter patooter.
he's just a little short king. Kendrick. Mr. Lamar. Yeah, like honestly, okay, yeah, I can bring up the Super Bowl now. Yay, this ties into everything perfectly. Like looking at the way he dresses, he just is just like a bruh, like, you know, like
He's a little guy.
just a little dude, you know.
Little dude.
He be wearing nice clothes. Like him and Baby Keem, like they dress well, but they're not like doing anything where they're like, oh, I'm like I'm putting that shit on, but I'm not necessarily like trying to be like profoundly this or that, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know if they're necessarily trying to make fashion hashtag statements. I think that the clothing just becomes like a part of like whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
With their
exactly.
visuals. Like it's just like another element to like create the world, but
like it's intentional, but they're not like not necessarily being tryhards, but like
it's intentional because like I said, it's a part of the world building, but I don't think that from a day-to-day like they're just like, I must wear this like moto jacket type shit. Like
yeah.
Like they're not like fashion girlies, you know?
Yeah.
Not fuck with that.
But they
like,
have a sense of style.
Yeah. They're just stylish and it's like very mundane, and I think that the juxtaposition, like being that way, but then listening to how intense the lyrics, like, oh God, yeah. Like, I don't know, you can say so much with so few words. You can say a lot by like not saying too much. I'm not reserved like that, so it's cool to me. Like, it's like, damn, the grass, it's not that the grass is greener. I was like, damn, this is just not my patch of grass, and I can admire this patch of grass because someone else is tending to it and laboring for it, and
yeah,
I love it. So thinking about his Super Bowl performance, that's just been on my mind a lot. I listen to GNX like almost every day.
I mean, you did start it with Mustard.
Turn his TV off. Yeah, yesterday, even when I posted on my story, like the track GNX, tell him Kendrick did it. Yeah, I'm tripping and I'm loving it. Tell him Kendrick did it. Have you ever? Wah! Yeah, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You
exactly.
get it.
Exactly. I'm like, it kind of sucks that I wasn't paying attention to him before he was hating on Drake. Like, I was and I wasn't.
Oh, I've been a fucking fan.
Yeah. Like, I knew he was talented, but the Drake beef was when I'm tuning in now because I don't like Drake.
I used to like Drake. I used to be a Drake. Okay, yeah, if I'm gonna be very real, because I was a big Degrassi watcher too. And I didn't fuck with his character. I didn't fuck with Jimmy at all. Jimmy was a shitbag.
Yeah.
Boo, fuck Jimmy. Fuck Jimmy and Degrassi. But I will say Drake used to have bars. Like, back when he was rapping with Wayne and like UGK, like I'll never shit on the song Uptown. Cause he really did say some words, but also Wayne said some words, and I think that is like, oh yeah, damn, another one of my big influences, Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
But anywho, visually, like aesthetically, like fashion wise, and just like swag wise, love Lil Wayne. Oh, what I was saying about Drake, yeah, I fucked with Drake and I fucked with everything up until like Views. Yeah, because after Views, I don't think he did. If you're reading this, it's too late, or maybe it did come out after. Basically, it stopped for me with What a Time to Be Alive, like that era, like what he did with Future, Views, and then the mixtape, If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. Like, that was where my Drake fandom kind of died off. Like, when he started getting, because he's always been pop.
Yeah.
Even when he was a mixtape girly, like, still pop. Him and Omarion skated on fucking Bria's interlude. That shit's beautiful. But I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know. I accepted him for being a whiny nigga that, like, talked like he could fight, but was really probably just gonna pay somebody to beat somebody up for him. I accepted him for who he was. I accepted him for the light skin that he is. And...
oh my god. What is it, the braids?
What is it, the braids? Honestly, when he was trying to be Habibi Drake,
oh no.
and got the braids. Like, no. Like,
No.
nah. I'm off it. I'm good. Like, when you start trying to be something you're not because you think that this is what manhood is, like, I hate that shit.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
He was just corny to me.
That's when he got hella corny. Like, I liked when he was corny and he kind of knew he was, and he was just like,
and he
I
leaned
just want
into
to be
it.
successful.
Okay. I can understand that. Like, just lean into the corn.
Be a cornball, you fucking cornball. You whack
I like
ass
Drake
bitch.
with the melody.
I like Drake with the melodies. I like Bria's interlude. I don't like Drake when he's talking about some... Well, no, Pain 1993 was kind of fire. Or is it Pain 1991? One of the two. But that's because him and Cardi were on that track. And yeah. But I think that wasn't even his song. I think that was...
You're like, let me
Pain.
consult.
I know, I'm on my Googles. Pain 1993, I was right. It was him, but I could have swore it was somebody else too. Niggas ain't gotta expect, or niggas ain't gotta respect, or niggas ain't gotta accept, niggas just gotta respect. I put that top left. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can definitely curse on here.
I'm so sorry.
No, I said you can. I'm like, that's why I made a podcast, because I was like, I don't want to deal with any fucking censorship nonsense, and I don't want to start talking like TikTok speak because I'm worried about being shut down or something.
Oh, you'll never get me. I miss the rage.
I'm like saying grape instead of rape, corn instead of porn.
Nah, what
What
the
are the
fuck?
other ones? Saying essay instead of sexual assault or whatever.
Unalived.
Unalived. Yeah, I'm like, I can't.
Niggas is dead.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah, no, it was Pain 1993. I thought it was like a Stormzy track or something, or like a British dude.
British?
Yeah, but Drake did do like a track with a British dude.
Damn, you said that, now I'm thinking about Peggy.
I'm pegging a man at the back of the bus. Feeling like 3-6 Mafia when I feel like it's
Knows what does.
I'm in the back of your bus with the daddy, and he's twerking and popping a perk.
Literally.
Got him bending his
So
bum
good.
like Spice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And he's twerking and popping a perk. Love it. Need it. Down.
So funny. She's so good.
Tell these fathers, or these, what did she say? These fathers say that my music's bad for the kids. Will someone tell their pappy that China don't give a shit? Britain the Stallion, I love you.
She's
My
so good.
girl, my girl, my girl. Whew. Okay. I'm trying to figure out what the song was that Drake did with...
Yeah, I'm like, we're gonna have you do one more point, and then I'm gonna have to...
We're wrapping it.
We're wrapping it up.
Drake's song with British guy. That's funny. It's the one with Heady One. It's the Only You freestyle. Yeah, that one was cool too. The Heady One freestyle was fire. Yeah, that was cool. But that was kind of just like when I stopped listening, because that was when he was on his, like, everybody else is on drill beats, and he like speaks Arabic on it, and I'm like, okay, Habibi Drake.
Just too much.
Okay, Worsty. Like,
what are we doing here?
I mean, thank God it's a podcast and you can't see my face, because I'm over here making some ugly ass faces, because what the fuck is this bro on? But like,
Literally.
Oh, the thing I was gonna say was I started listening to Kendrick when I was like 18, and I think that much like I talk about Kanye, like having, like in my childhood, this like kind of like scoring of like a very specific eras of my life with very specific songs. Like Jesus Walks was a video that changed my life.
Oh my God, yeah, I remember
That was a video that changed my fucking life. It reminded me of what Crossroads did for me by Bone Thugs and Harmony. It's hella funny because like even listening to Heard 'Em Say and it being shot in black and white, and I was a big Adam Levine fan, like in Maroon 5. Yep. So, damn, I was thinking about playing that song. Cutting and harder to breathe. I think I'm gonna play it on my radio show later. Anyway,
you know, the radio show that you have to do later.
Yeah. I'll plug it at the end.
Oh, sure.
I guess yes. I'll plug my shit at the end, but
yes.
I think that had me spooked too, cause like, I don't know, it just felt like paradigm shifts. I think when I started listening to Kendrick, I was on I know that there's more to my life than what I experienced as a youth dem, and as a teenager dem. No, I'm just kidding.
You're silly.
I'm so goofy. I think I was feeling like I don't know what's around the corner, but I know I have to get the fuck out of here. And when I was listening to like High Power, Section 80, what is it, Cartoons and Cereal, like that was very Tumblr blog era, and I wasn't even like, I was not popping on Tumblr. Like, my social media presence now, where people just, they're like, you don't miss, and I was like, well, it's because I wasn't cool on social media as a teenager. I'm gonna be very real, like, my personality developed through being disliked.
Oh, no.
Yeah, people didn't fucking like me. And if they did, like, it was very much like a, I don't know, like, it wasn't like a what I could do for them thing. It was just like a, they got past whatever annoying things about me were annoying about me. And it was kind of like I was a person people could take in small doses. So I grew to really like myself, and I grew to really like being alone. And of course, like, I had my try hard era, like, in college. And it's funny because I never tried hard with music, and I never tried hard with media. That was the one thing I could always stand. I could stand 10 toes. I could handstand 10 fingers. Mm-hmm. I could be on all fours. I didn't even have to stand. I would lay my body down for what I was into, type shit. And I didn't give a fuck. And so, I don't know. Like, even though I wasn't necessarily conscious, I was still like, I am spiritual. I left the church. I need to leave my family.
Your third eye was opening.
I was starting to get into, like, that shit, and I started reading self-help books, and I was like only 18. So I was like, I was listening to Kendrick then, and I was listening to like shit like Tame Impala and Portishead and James Blake and Benny Benassi. I was really into Benny Benassi at that time, and like Hudson Mohawk and shit. So I had all of these worlds, and I was seeing how they were all influencing each other. But there was just something about him, like, being hungry in that era that, like, when I, like, was getting ready to come to college, it just, like, pushed me. Then being in college, like, my junior year, and Damn came out. And when I heard Love, I was in my office, and I was like, oh, wow, that's, like, really sweet. Like, Loyalty didn't get me. Element, Love, and the track, oh my gosh, the track where he was like, I'll beat your ass, like, it made me start to think about, like, family dynamics, because, like, it made me think about my mom and shit, and, like, how she's always like, I'll beat your ass, and, like, that was exactly what it was supposed to do, and, like, it unlocked some shit about, like, musical storytelling for me. And then I revisited Untitled, Unmastered, when I found out that Prince helped with production on it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, another Gemini. Yeah, before he passed, him and Thundercat worked on that project. And why so sad? Walking around with them blue faces. And, like, talking about, like, why are you so sad? You got money, nigga. Like, that's crazy. That's so crazy. And it's funky. And, like, To Pimp a Butterfly, like, I didn't really get into it, but I had respect for it. I liked All Right. That was the single off of it. There are Kendrick albums that I can say, like, I respect them, even though I didn't listen to them. But I've always respected, like, being able to just, like, read his lyrics and annotate it and understand what he was getting at.
Yeah.
Even when it was, like, not popular, even when he was accused of being phobic in some ways, and I was like, I don't think he's as much of a hotep as y'all niggas are trying to like paint him out to be.
Oh, there's some heavy, like, we're gonna paint a picture about him.
Just because he's like,
time.
He's just an old head. Like, he's just like a granddaddy. Like, he's literally just an LA nigga. Like, LA niggas do got that old head spirit about them. Like, once they have fully formed brains. Anyway, that's my take. But it's also just like, you have to understand, like, he's gonna act like an old head because he's seen niggas die, for real.
Yeah.
Like,
his real lived experience
is violence. And so when people are like surprised that like, oh, he's therapized and like, but he's still coming at like people like on some heavy angry shit, I'm like, well, abso-fucking-lutely, because when you become
more healed,
when you heal, you have to feel the pain in order for like the scar tissue to form over it, which also means you have to identify where it hurts and where it comes from. So if you are hit in another area in a similar way, the pain is familiar. It doesn't hurt less. You can just articulate it a lot faster.
Exactly.
And 9 times out of 10, it's gonna make you even more upset because you're like, I've already gone through this and I know I don't like it. So what makes you think that like him dealing with this whack ass nigga, why would he be nice about it? Taking the high road, sometimes you gotta be cruel to be kind. Jesus slapped a nigga over disrespecting his daddy house. Remember that. The same man who turned the other cheek also put a fucking welt on someone else's. And that is, thank you GNX. Thank you Euphoria. Thank you Not Like Us. Say Drake, I heard you like him young. And shout out to Solange, especially the meme of her with the pistol. Watching the Super Bowl halftime show was like, it gave me the same feeling that I got when I watched When I Get Home. Sometimes being black doesn't have to look like doing blackety black stuff, in the sense like, you know, doing the tropes or even mocking the tropes. But when we do take our character archetypes and embody them, like Solange is a bitch from the Southwest.
Literally.
That's a nigga from LA. Samuel L. Jackson is a pallbearer.
Yeah.
He was a pallbearer to MLK.
Yeah.
And then him also just being someone that people tried to make a modern minstrel because he's a loud black man of stature, because that's not a small man.
He is not tiny.
That is a like didn't they try to cast that nigga as Paul Bunyan?
I think I do remember that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was so subversive how he flipped that and then still made it, but then so exactly. So anyway, my name is
Serena Williams.
Her crip walking. Well, you know, in her own career,
exactly, because she did do that.
She crip walked on the fucking.
They were trying to penalize her.
Yeah. Once again, it's like one thing, and this goes back to like the direct influence of like me being a rave or club DJ. I don't give a fuck. I'm playing a trap song in the middle of my techno set, and it's not ironic because I'm not some white twerpy boy who went to fucking Stanford who's like, I like Lil Yachty. Like, nah, bitch. I do like ODB. For real. Unironically. And if it fits in the fucking set, it's going in the fucking set. Yeah, I will be playing Let the Beat Build because the Carter 3 saved me from myself.
I know, that's right.
Like, no.
Yeah.
It's not about like the airs. So yeah, being cool on social media is not a big deal. Music really is. Music is an extension of love, and love is the greatest healer and force that we have. And
literally,
sometimes visual media can make us question our alignment to societal values and if these values as a society actually serve us. My name is Lonnie Taylor, aka Lonald J. Bands. You can find me on the Instagram at Mother, Lode, chai like the latte. And in that, you will find where my radio shows are. Shout out to Lower Grand Radio. Next month, we have our 10-year anniversary. I do my monthly show there every second Saturday. And next month, on their 10-year anniversary on the 12th, it's also my 4-year anniversary.
Oh.
Yeah, I get to share a birthday with Lower Grand.
That's so cute.
My radio show does. And then tonight, shout out to BFF.FM. I do a bi-weekly show called Talk and Noise at Night. If you like yapping and if you like hearing all of the weird backstory behind why I like to listen to a random song while sitting at the beach at 7 a.m., that's the show for you. And my friends talk about the same things. And V's been on there too.
Yes. And I might be back, right?
I know you're coming back.
Okay.
Because I have more questions. I love being able to give you a prompt and then, because just like I don't talk about film a lot, you don't talk about music a lot, so then yeah, it's lit.
I mean, it's definitely funny too, because I was thinking about like, I do need to be listening to like more music stations, more specifically your show in general, because it's like, I was realizing that I wasn't really getting introduced to new music, that I haven't like, I have no way of like finding on my own, and I was like, how did I used to do that? And that was because of radio.
Okay, so I think I want to do a millennial panel episode about the times have changed. Like, how did we used to dig for music versus how we don't find new music now because of the algorithmic shift. And I don't know how to facilitate this convo yet because
yeah, because I'm like, yeah, a lot of us don't have cars anymore. A lot of us, I don't know, it's like people, newer artists have to also do multiple jobs and become their own like promotion.
Bitch, I'm my own manager right now and it's crazy.
TikToks and things, and it's like,
yep.
You know, like, do I just gotta fucking look up local shows and just hope that the music is good? Because I'm like, I wanna know new bands. I don't want to just be like one of those like old heads that are like, they're just not making good music anymore. And it's like, no, you just need to go out there and find it.
It's also, okay, one thing I will say is I was such an esoteric listener that finding new music for me was because I had a YouTube account, and like being a sheltered kid, like us both being like previously sheltered kids, and then finding the internet as like a safe, like I had to use it because I was studious, and then it's like,
exactly.
Well, you know, I take my little inch out where I'm like, yeah. And like, I mean, thankfully my parents knew that I liked music a lot, and my dad was very like, both my dad and my mom, they kind of like, they were like hip to like, oh, this is how you download music and stuff like that. And we were able to consume that kind of media together, like watching music videos and stuff. So that gave me more access and leeway. But like, once I was an angsty, esoteric, moody teen and my interests were different, like sonically, it's like, oh, well. And because I was kind of on the fringe with a lot of my classmates, like they were my peers, like, but like there were things that I would hear about through them where I'm like, oh, what's this? And then I would look it up, and sometimes I would either be curious or I would reject it, or I would reject it at first and then get curious about it. And then because of that, I would like...
Yeah, exactly. Because I remember the YouTube algorithm was really, really good.
Oh, she still is.
Yeah. Thankfully,
if you keep an account for a long time, yeah.
I remember a few years ago, it was just like, we're going to just feed you what you've already listened to. And I'm like, no. But now it's gone back to like, here's some random thing that is probably related to what you like.
Yeah, I really love the tangential stuff. And then it's also funny because now that I'm a person that puts out curated media, like into these spaces. Like I have video mixes like on YouTube or
Yeah.
like people find me algorithmically and then I'm like, oh. But yeah, looking to the youth dem, like I have friends who are in their early 20s that are kind of putting me, like they're kind of like my filter for like the stuff that's not just reduced to TikTok rot brain fuckery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with that,
Yeah.
we're gonna end it there.
So what were we talking about? What were we saying?
Now, what was I talking about?
Exactly. Huh? Were we talking about music?
Who even knows, man?
Was it music?
Probably.
It was Keisha. It was Sonia. It was music. It was Monique. It was Kendrick. It was Drake, who likes him young. But now to see you at 23, all I can say is you won't go to jail for that, buddy. But it is still weird. Cut my mic.
Well, thank you so much for being my first guest.
Oh, it was lovely to be an inaugural assistive voice.
Yes. And yeah, I'll see you all, or y'all will hear me next time. Bye.
Bye.